Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing our CURT hitch on our 2025 Hyundai Palisade. Our Palisade is a really popular vehicle, and when you put a hitch on it, it's really going to open up your horizons on what you can do with your vehicle. It's going to allow you to haul bike racks, cargo carriers, stuff like that, and even do some light towing. It's going to also be a hitch that actually looks pretty good on this one. I think this one looks pretty good. You don't see any cross tubes hanging down. They're all behind your fascia, and it's just basically going to be your receiver portion that's going to be hanging down that you see. It's gloss black, so it's going to hold up really well to the elements and hold up the scratches really well, and it actually looks really good in my opinion. This hitch is going to have a 5/8 pinhole opening, and that's going to hold your accessories in place. Now this hitch won't come with a pin and clip, so you may want to pick one up here at eTrailer, but keep in mind some of your accessories now will have a pin and clip with it. Another nice option for these is going to be a locking pin. With that, you'll be able to lock on any of your accessories that you have on the back, like your really nice bike carriers. Say you're out at the trail and you want to lock that in place while you're down the trail so nobody can take that off of the back while you're gone. Now for your tow loops, you're going to have a welded on design that's really pretty heavy duty. It's going to accommodate either your S-style hooks or your clevis style hooks. So those are going to take care of your trailer towing needs. As far as measurements go, from the center of the pinhole out to the edge of the bumper, we're looking at right at about 4.5 inches. Now with that measurement, you'll be able to decide on if you have any accessories that fold up or stow away, if they will make any contact with the back of your vehicle. Now from the ground to this top of our hitch right here, that's going to be 14 inches. Now with that one, you'll be able to decide if you need any rise of the shank of, say, your bike carriers or cargo carriers for clearance. For weight ratings on this hitch is going to have a tongue weight rating of 750 pounds. That's going to be pushing down on the lower part of your hitch right here. That's going to be the weight combined with your bike racks loaded down with your bikes, or your cargo carriers loaded down with all of your gear. It's going to have a tow rating of 5,000 pounds. Now that's going to be the total weight of your trailer and everything that you have on that. Now also, it is going to be weight distribution capable, so it is going to remain with the tongue weight rating of 750 pounds, but it is going to up your trailer towing capacity another 1,000 up to 6,000 pounds. Now keep in mind, it's always a good idea to take a look in your owner's manual and see what your maximum tow rating is. And so it's always a good idea to go with the lowest number between your hitch and your owner's manual. Now, if you have any questions or comments about this hitch, you can always leave a comment down below, or you can get a hold of one of our experts here at eTrailer. Now, for installation, it can be a little bit tricky to get this one done, but it's not something that you couldn't handle yourself or with a buddy on an afternoon in your garage or in your driveway. Now, if it's something you don't have time to do yourself, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. If it's something you feel like doing yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our installation, we're going to have our hatch opened up, and in the back, we lifted up our cargo door here, and this is going to be our flooring. We just lifted that up. Now, down below that, in the passenger side, you're going to have this little screw, little plastic plug. Just want to take a flathead, and we're going to get that backed out. We'll get that out of the way. Now down inside there, you're going to have a 21 millimeter nut. What we're doing is we just want to back this off because we need to drop our spare tire out of the way. Just want to lift up on your spare a little bit, and underneath here, just push up on that little metal holder. That'll slide up so you can move it a little bit. Now we can just get our spare tire out of the way. Underneath of our vehicle on the driver's side, we're going to have this little plastic panel we need to remove. It's going to have some little pop clips. I'm just going to get in there with a screwdriver and pop those out. Now once we get those out along the side, we're going to have two 14mm plastic nuts. And those, you just want to back those out without putting any upward pressure on them. You just want them to be able to back off. I'm going to have 2 of those. Now, if they give you any trouble, you can put a little bit of downward pressure on the panel itself. Sometimes that'll help them pop out. Just like that. Now we'll do the same on the other side. With that out, now we can move that out of the way. Now we want to support our exhaust because we're going to need to lower this down a little bit to make room to get our hitch installed. So we just want to take a cam buckle strap and get that mounted up. And just tighten up our strap, and that's going to support our exhaust. On the back of our vehicle, we're going to have our rubber isolators connected to our exhaust. Now, one thing I like to do with these is spray them down with a little soapy water. And once we do that, give them a little wiggle around. That's going to help break them loose and make it a little bit easier for us to pull those off. After I've done that, just want to get behind it with either a large screwdriver, pry bar, or isolator tool and just pop that loose. Now I'm going to have one on the other side over here, and then I'm going to have one more here in the back. Now once we have that, we just hold up on our exhaust and loosen up our cam buckle strap a little bit, and that's going to bring our exhaust down some, giving us a little more room. Now before we get our hitch lifted into place, there's a little thing that I like to do before we get it put up there. I like to take a tube brush, and we're going to have our weld nuts in the bottom of our frame where our hardware is going to be going. So I just like to spray a little penetrating oil in there and just run a tube brush in. And we'll do that on both sides just to make sure we have nice clean threads before we lift our hitch in place and get our hardware installed. One of the things I like to do before I get my hitch lifted up there is get all my hardware sorted out. We're going to have these conical tooth washers, and it's going to have teeth on them. And on these, we want to make sure the teeth are either touching the frame or they're touching the hitch. So there are going to be 2 different sizes. These are going to have a smaller inner diameter hole, and you're going to have the ones with the larger, as you can see there. So I like to divvy them all up and keep the smaller washers with the small bolts and the large with the large before we get everything lifted in place. Now with an extra set of hands, Jonathan is going to help us out, and we're going to get our hitch lifted into place. Get your holes lined up. Get your small hardware started. And once we have those in place, we'll take our long bolts with our conical washer facing the hitch, and we'll run that through our frame. Now when we started to get our bolt to go through here, we noticed that this little yellow tab that hangs down is going to get in the way, and it kind of interferes with the washer, so you need to back the bolt up and put the washer on first and then run it through. But as you see, that's going to interfere with our bolt going through. So I think what I'm going to do is trim off a little bit of that pin, and it's basically just an alignment pin. I'm going to trim some of that off to give us room for our bolt to go through. So I have my multi-cutting tool. I'm just going to trim some of that back. That out of the way, should be able to run our bolt through. On the back side, we're going to take one of our conical tooth washers with the teeth, face that towards the frame, and install our nut. Now we'll do this on all of our bolts that we put through our frame. With all of our hardware in place, we can come back through and snug down all of our hardware. I like to tighten up the bottom ones first. That's the way it's gonna draw up our hitch. One thing I wanted to show you guys on this side, it's really kind of hard to see, but you're gonna have this heat shield in the way. When you're putting your hardware on this side for these upper bolts that go through your frame, put your washer on against the hitch and then push your bolt in through the hole, through the washer and into the hole. This shield will get in your way, so you may have to push them in to get them to go through. Especially the one on this other side, I found that one kind of want to fight you a little bit, so you may need to take a long screwdriver and even push up on the shield and just keep pushing that through. The hole isn't threaded, so don't worry about having to push that through the frame. It will go through. Just give it a shove on through and then you can get your hardware on. Come back through and torque down our hardware. Now keep in mind you are going to have two different sizes and types of fasteners under here, so you're going to want to make sure you go by your instruction manual for your torque settings because they will be different. You are going to need a torque wrench. If you need a torque wrench, you could pick one up here at eTrailer. We do have a few options of these available. If not, you can always take a look at your local auto parts store and they may have one there for you to rent. Now what you can do is get your panel on your driver's side put back in place. That's no big deal. You just push it up there and turn the little plastic screws tight and get your clips in place. And now we'll go ahead and get our exhaust lifted back in place and get our exhaust put back in place. Now with those, now we can remove our cam buckle strap. We'll go ahead and get our spare tire put back in place, and that'll go back up there with no problems, nothing to worry about. So you will be able to retain your spare while you have your hitch. That'll do it for our look at our CURT hitch on our 2025 Hyundai Palisade. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.